Well, joining me live is Angela Fobbs, who is the Director of Strategic Initiatives, Democrats Abroad. Let's get her response to the Iran war and reaction so far. She joins me from Mainz in Germany. Good to have you. Now, what's your reaction to the recent development on the war in Iran? And can Congress do anything about it while the war is on?
Congress should stop this action. War is wrong, and the American people know it. Every major poll shows that the majority of Americans do not want war with Iran and disapprove of the way the conflict is being handled. There's no public mandate for this escalation, and Congress has both the constitutional authority and the moral responsibility to intervene. But Republicans won't stop this and should be voted out in November.
Should move immediately to stop it. I thought that this, while the US is at war, the Congress cannot sit. Am I right or I don't know.
That's not correct.
Okay.
Congress can be seated during the war. Yes.
Congress should invoke the War Powers Resolution to limit Trump's military authority in Iran. And what implications would this have for presidential power?
Well, invoking the powers resolution would be Congress asserting its constitutional prerogative, demanding that the president justify continuing hostilities and seeking authorization for this war is within their rights as the Congress. And the broader implications of this is that every time Congress declines to enforce the war powers resolution, it effectively expands presidential authority. And every time it pushes back, it rebalances the separation of power. So the stakes aren't just about Iran, they're about the long term trajectory of executive power, and Donald Trump needs to be stopped.
Okay, so how do you respond to analysts who say Trump's actions in Iran are escalating tensions and putting American lives at risk rather than promoting peace and stability? As he said, he would end all the wars, but now it's almost like starting wars, and we're seeing the direct opposite.
Well, there's no question that analysts across the spectrum are warning about this escalation, and Donald Trump has called himself the president of peace. The president of peace shouldn't seek conflicts with other countries, wars that are long, costly engagements, and that will begin as limited operations like Afghanistan and Iraq, which both lasted about 20 years or more. Um, I think that Donald Trump starting this conflict really should put an end to his quest for a Nobel Peace Prize because he is not the president of peace. He is the president of war.
Is the way you put it there. But do you think this is a direct distraction from the Epstein files?
Yes, of course it is. It should probably be called Operation Epstein Distraction.
So do you think Democrats should deploy a more bipartisan approach by supporting Trump to win the war rather than fall back? I mean, as you say, the US is at war already. So don't you think bipartisan to see how Americans can, win the war and have Americans safe because the Americans are scattered all over. So shouldn't that be the, process to be deployed now?
Well, Americans were safe before he started this war. And right now, lots of American lives are at stake. So having a bipartisan agreement to is great if you're doing something positive. And many Democrats and even some Republicans are saying that their concern is not about undermining the mission, but ensuring the mission is lawful, clearly defined, and accountable. So, yeah, a bipartisan approach is great, but it doesn't mean that it's a rubber stamp on the administration's decisions. And really, this war will not go well. It's not going well now. So it's better that we end it and like try to salvage our reputation with the world and make sure that no more of our soldiers or civilians are killed.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Angela Fobbs, she is a Director of Strategic Initiatives, Democrats Abroad.